What's up, gang? How you guys doing? It is Lieutenant Sal Blue, 28-year law enforcement veteran and the author of the top 25 mistakes en route to the good life. And I am about to talk to you about a question that I was thinking about ever since I reread this book on self-hypnosis and meditation. So I'm going to get right into the podcast. So give me a minute, YouTube, while I cue Spotify, all right? What's up, gang? How you guys doing over there in Spotify land? This is Lieutenant Sal Blue, 28-year law enforcement veteran and the author of the top 25 mistakes en route to the good life, coming at you guys once again with my daily podcast. That's right, my daily podcast, top 25 mistakes, is me, 28-year law enforcement veteran Sal Blue, giving you guys some transparency on all the mistakes, the stupid mistakes, silly mistakes, non-thinking mistakes, whatever they are, they're mistakes. And they're the ones that I made, guys. They're the ones that I made throughout my career, throughout my life, throughout my relationships, in my finances, in my health. They're my mistakes, and I'm putting them out there for you guys. For you guys every single day to learn from the things that I messed up at, so that you guys can avoid them at all costs and have a better life. That's right, I'm out here and I'm putting my mistakes out there so that you can time crunch and leapfrog over where I am right now and have a far better life. I'm treating you guys how I would treat my children, and I want my children all to have a better life than what I currently have, guys. And that life is fulfilled with daily abundance of happiness and joy, you know, and I have so many things to be thankful and grateful for each and every day, and I want you guys to feel the same way. So one way to do that, guys, is by not by achieving all the goals and dreams that you want. That stuff is superficial, man. It is being grateful for what you have right now and growing from there. And from there, guess where you grow to, guys? Where I'm at right now. Just giving value each and every day. Making a conscious effort every day to help someone else's life be better than it was the day before. And that's how you do it, guys. That is how you have a fulfilled life, man. Not by collecting things, man. Anybody could collect stuff, right? You can't take it with you. You know, as I say over and over again, the Egyptians learned that, right? You cannot take it with you. So from the words of Abraham Lincoln, you can learn from just about anybody. Sometimes it's what not to do. So, hey, learn what not to do, guys, and leapfrog where I'm at and have a phenomenal life, extraordinary life. That's what I'm looking at, man. So today's question, what is today's question that I've written down for you guys? And it is, I told you, from a book that I read on self-hypnosis and mind control, right? So some of you guys don't believe in mind control, telekinesis, and all that crazy stuff. But I believe that we are all energy, and we all flow within our atoms and everything that we're made up of. And I believe that there is some truth to our mind being able to control matter, you know, and more importantly, our mind being able to control our matter, right? So the question I have for you today is, can your expectancy determine your outcome? Can your expectancy determine your outcome? So if you are expecting something to happen, will it make a determination on it happening in your life? And so that is why I always make sure that I think in a positive manner, right? I'm always thinking of the good things that are happening in life, or the good things that can happen, or that things are going to work out. That is how I'm always thinking. And if things don't work out, I always attribute it to something else I needed to do, something else that I left out of the equation to make it happen. I never say that it was meant to be, or fate determined it that way, or I'm always having bad luck. I don't use those words on myself, and I suggest that you don't use them on yourself if you're trying to move ahead to have an extraordinary life, guys. So when I ask this question, I want you guys to understand what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about here is your internal dialogue that you are having with yourself. What are the conversations that you are having with yourself? Now, I know we have tons of thoughts. I'm talking about what is the conversations that you're having with yourself, right? And I've started noticing this more and more on so many people that I interact with on a daily basis, right? On a daily basis, just at work alone, I probably interact with about 300 to 400 people, right? Just at work alone. Then in social media and coaching and dialogues with groups that I'm a part of, probably another 500 people. So probably about 1,000 people a day that I'm constantly in dialogue with, talking with, hearing them talk to me, and listening to things that they have to say. And 90% of them, every now and then, I watch them, and they say things about themselves. Okay, maybe out of embarrassment or maybe out of habit, but they'll say something like, "Oh, I'm so clumsy," or "Oh my God, that always happens to me," right? And it'll be something negative, guys. I tell people, if something always happens to you, then make it something positive. It doesn't have to be something negative that always happens to you, but most of the time, when somebody says that always happens to me, it has a negative connotation to it. So I don't want you guys to be out there thinking that all of these negative things happen and they're supposed to happen, like some type of fate or something brought it down on you. Some outside force made it happen in your life. The only thing that made that happen in your life is you, right? You did it through your thought waves, through your power, right? So I did this experiment many years ago, right? When I read this book on self-hypnosis, right? And I just saw it recently on a playback of Oprah Winfrey. But a guy in the book told me to take a string, right? And he had me have a piece of paper, right? A piece of paper just like this, right? And I had numbers written on the paper, right? I had numbers written on the paper. And so he told me to hold a string up and with a screw tied to the other end for weight, almost like a plumb, right? When you're doing, if you guys have done any carpentry work, so like a plumb. So you're holding it up and you got the string, and he said, now think of it flowing left to right, right? And I would think, and without and I would pay attention to it, right? And without moving my hand any way or another, it would go left to right. And then he said, put it in a circle. And I will put it in a circle. And then he said, reverse it. And it will reverse, guys. I suggest you guys try this trick at home, because it's not a trick. It's actually what happens when our mind connects with all of ourselves, right? And with matter. We can move things with our mind, guys. So then he told me to hold it over the piece of paper, right? And think of a number that's on the paper. And when I did that, the screw literally went over the number and started spinning in circles around that particular number. How fascinating is that, guys? How fascinating is that? That trick got me to thinking, right? Because I had no connection to whether it was going to go over that number or not over that number. He just told me, hey, don't try to say, oh, I need this or I want this or be thirsty for it, right? Just say, go in circle. Go to left to the right. Go over the 1. Go over the 5. Go over the 9. And that's what would happen, because I wasn't attached to the outcome of that. So my expectancy was determined. Okay, my expectancy determined my outcome, in that situation, in that experiment, and I thought that was incredible. But what I found was that every cell in our body vibrates at a certain frequency based on our expectancy, right? What we expect, our cells are listening in, and they begin to vibrate based on what we expect. So, as I tell you guys over and over again, right? Knowing this, why would you ever allow a negative thought to enter your vibration? How could you do it, right? If you know, no matter what, right, you think of something negative is going to happen, right? As opposed to you thinking of something positive and something positive happens, strengthen your vibration and pay attention to your thoughts, right? And so a good way to do this, guys, a good way to do this is to stop being around so many damn negative people. You got to stop doing it. Stop being around so many negative people and stop listening to so many negative people, how they talk about bad things are going to happen. You know, when I go to work today, you know, not today, but whatever day I go to work, right? Or whatever day I'm interacting with people, I have people at my job that goes, oh my God, get ready. It's going to be a bad day. And I immediately extinguish that thought with my positivity. No, it is going to be a fantastic day because we're going to get to interact with people today, right? Okay, so no matter what, this day already started off good because we all woke up. Number one, so be grateful for that. But number two, every interaction with a person, another person, can be a positive interaction if you deem it necessary, if you deem it so. And it doesn't matter what that other person says or what they bring to the table. It's what you can get out of every conversation. Even a person being nasty, you can get something positive out of it. You know, most of the time when people are nasty to me at work, you know, I'm doing a protection detail or security or some type of law enforcement detail. When people are nasty to me at work, I attribute it to a saying that someone said to me a long time ago, right? He said, Blue, hurt people hurt people. So understand that anytime somebody lashes out at you, understand that that person is just hurting on a deep level and they don't know anything other than to communicate their pain by lashing out through other people. So understand that as you communicate and interact with people and don't take things in, especially the negative stuff that other people put out there. So now the problem with most people is they don't pay close attention not only to the words that they are saying to themselves, but also their thoughts, right? People don't pay attention to the words they're saying to themselves or the thoughts that are going through their heads each and every day and every time something happens. Now, what I've seen, guys, and here's me just giving you my opinion on some of the things that I've seen, and I've seen millions and millions of people make tons and tons of mistakes, right? But what I've seen very frequently, more often, is that people use negativity as an excuse for perfection, right? If somebody doesn't get something right the first time and other people get to observe it, they say something negative about themselves, right? Or the situation, so that they don't feel embarrassed about the fact that they failed or the fact that they made a mistake. And it's because they have added the wrong definition to their failure. You know, every failure for me is a potential of growth, right? It is not anything bad or anything that you should be hurt about, right? You fail at something, it just means that you trying again, that what you currently tried did not work, and so you need to try another path, right? And try as many paths as you can until you succeed. And if you make that connection in your mind, you will always follow up a failure with another try. You will always follow up a failure with another attempt to achieve what you want. So understand the connection that people make to failure and doing something wrong. They like to follow it up, like I said before, with a negative thought in order to extinguish the or save themselves from the embarrassment of not achieving what they said they were going to achieve. So don't let that be you. Don't fall down that route. Okay. Now, out of the 60 to 70,000 thoughts that we have a day, right? And I know you can't keep track of all of them, right? Um, but also, and you can't control all of them. But paying close attention to them is vital, right? And the reason why I say paying close attention to them is because the thoughts that come through our mind each and every day as we are, whatever we're doing, if something became a little difficult or challenging or uncomfortable, right? We are always, right, validating or rejecting what we are thinking and saying to ourselves, right? Always, right? What we need to be paying attention to is keeping a close watch on the gates of our consciousness, right? And the reason why I say keep a close watch on the gates of our consciousness is because, right, a lot of times you can't control everything that goes into your subconscious, right? But some of the things that are on the surface that happen to you, that you're saying to yourself, that you're thinking, you can put a halt to them. You can put an immediate stop to it and say, no, that is not the case. That is not how I think, and that is not how I feel about myself. And you say that, and you make that determination, guys, and that determination will end up becoming your habit. What you always do, guys. What you always do is very, very important. Now, to answer the first question that I said, can you expect to see determine your outcome? I want to say this, right? First, it is based on two things. And those things are, first, do not be attached to the outcome. And the reason why I tell you guys do not be attached to the outcome is because there are many ways that you can receive what you want out of life, right? There's so many different variables of success that a lot of times what we tend to do is we tend to picture our success based on what we saw someone else's success is, right? So we want success or we want to achieve something, but we've never achieved that before, so we don't know how it feels. So what we do is we take a snapshot, a picture of someone who else who's achieved it. We didn't do deep investigation on how they felt when they achieved it. All we know is we see something that looks like it will be something that makes us happy. So that is our picture of success. So we attach ourselves to that outcome. That particular outcome is the outcome that we feel that we need to achieve, right? And when the truth is that we probably could achieve that from 100 different variations and still be extremely happy, guys. So that is why you should not be attached to the outcome. You can be attached to the results, right? The end results that you need to have. But when I say attached to the outcome, I mean attached to exactly what it's going to be. Okay? So and I get it, man. I get it, right? It is hard not to be attached to things in life, right? But as I said before, if you begin to be attached to giving value and being grateful for everything that you have, right, then it takes a whole lot less effort to for your happiness to flow through achieving things of value, right? Your whole value system is going to begin to change, guys, as you start to do this and as you start to work harder and smarter to have a better life, right? Now, the second thing, guys, that I tell you guys, and I've already mentioned this within the podcast, is always finish what you started as part of your character, right? And the reason is as a part of your character is because you guys will be surprised How many people do not finish what they start? You know, one of the hardest things I used to do was give up when I got bored with something, right? And the only reason I got bored with it is because it seemed like I wasn't going to get the result that I wanted as soon as I thought I was going to get it, right? You know, my perfect example of this, guys, is when I was attempting to write my first book, right? And I would write some chapters and write some chapters, but I was looking for immediate gratification and immediate satisfaction in writing the book. So what would happen to me is I would give up. I would give up and go start something else. And then start going in on that. And then when the enthusiasm started fading on that, I would give up on that too and set it down. And then I would jump on something else, right? Some other shiny object over there, and I would begin to work on that, right? And when the enthusiasm and the energy that I had began to fade because the task wasn't giving me immediate rewards, I would give up on that as well, guys. And I had made it a habit of not finishing what I started. Now, it was not until I made the connection of finish what you start no matter what, right? And make sure you start your day and finish your day, right? And it started with me making the bed, guys. And you know, I make the bed, and in making the bed, it is me finishing the entire process of me getting a good night rest. Me getting a good night rest and waking up in the morning and making the bed and making breakfast and going throughout my day. That is an entire process. And each step completes another phase of my day. And so when it came to me writing my book, Top 25 Mistakes En Route to the Good Life, I told myself that no matter what, I was going to finish writing this book. And I gave myself a date, and I gave myself a time that I was going to finish, and I literally finished the book early, right? I finished my book a month earlier than what I expected. I gave myself each day, by the way. Each day I also gave myself how many pages I was going to write a day, how much research I was going to do a day, and I stuck to that schedule. I stuck to that schedule, guys. And because I stuck to that schedule and finishing what I started, I reached my outcome before what I even expected to reach it. And that is how, you guys, that is how you put together a life on your terms, guys. That is how you put together a life on your terms. So you can determine, right, that your outcome in life by expecting good things to happen for you, guys. Now, with those good things to happen, you have to put in work, man. You have to put in work. Nothing comes to anybody without effort. That's just how life is, right? And so a lot of times when you don't achieve what you want out of life, it's because you didn't give enough effort. So start a practice of giving effort. And when you feel that you've given as much as you can give more. That is when I began to have the life that I wanted. It wasn't until I went beyond what I felt I can give to give more. It was me pushing myself to feel uncomfortable. And then when I felt totally and completely uncomfortable and at my limits, I added another phase to that, another step, so that I can push myself even further. When I began to do that, the magic began to happen. My attitude began to change. My enthusiasm began to change. My completing everything that I said I was going to do changed, guys. Okay, and the same will happen for you guys. So that's it for today, man, for my daily podcast. Hopefully you guys are pumped up, excited. Okay, and you make sure that you monitor those 60 to 70,000 thoughts a day, and make sure that when those negative ones come your way, you shut them down. You shut them down and say, this is not me. This is not what I want. Okay. And you send them back to where they came from. Okay. So that's it for today, man. Make sure you guys check me out. Hop on over to lieutenantsalblue.com. Pick up your copy of the top 25 mistakes en route to the good life. I got a sale going, $9.95. All you're doing is paying shipping. Got tons of bonuses and upsells over there on the website. So click on over, pick up your copy today. As well as, guys, make sure you connect with me on social media. Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Snapchat, Twitter, and TikTok, right? So check me out on all the social media platforms at lieutenantsalblue.com. DM me messages, guys, for what you want me to talk about tomorrow. So let's keep this going. And we got, oh man, this is episode 129. So we got tons of more episodes to go, man. So this is Lieutenant Sal Blue, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow, right, with my daily podcast. You guys have a great night, all right? Deuces.